the data path subsystems, where we are going to study here counters. Initially, we'll try to study about counters. Now here, uh, as per your basics of electronics, you have studied about up counter, down counter, up and down counters. And apart from that one, you might have studied even about the modern type of counters. And now here, in this particular lecture, we'll be studying about high-level kind of counters, which are called as ring counters. Ring counters, basically, there are two kinds of ring counters. One is ordinary ring counter, other one is called as an Johnson counter. So now here we'll be studying this basically and specifically these two type of counters. Firstly, we all know that counter is a sequential circuit, where sequential circuit means it will be happening in a particular one order in a sequence, it will be running. So that's why we call it a sequential circuit. And a digital circuit which is used for counting pulses is called as a counter. Counter is nothing else, but it's mainly used for counting the pulses, how the pulses are moving, or how, depending upon the clock, or with respect to clock or without respect to clock. So the mainly it's used for counting the pulses. Now this particular counter is widely used with respect to applications of flip-flops, where we'll be designing this particular counter with the help of flip-flops, or else simply I can put it as it's a group of flip-flops where a clock signal has been applied. Means you'll be designing a counter with the help of flip-flops with the help which has been triggered with the clock. So counters are basically of two types. We all know it's an asynchronous counter and synchronous counter. First one is called as an asynchronous counter, where it is also called as a ripple counter, and the other one is a synchronous counter. So now let us see in the asynchronous counter. If you see the asynchronous counter, which is also called as a ripple counter, in this one, the block diagram of asynchronous counter, or the logic diagram of asynchronous counter of any 2-bit ripple up counter will be shown in the figure in this particular slide. First, it has been designed with the help of a 2-bit T flip-flops have been used here in order to design that one. There's a toggle flip-flop, or else, but we can also use a JK flip-flops whenever you want permanently, which is connected to logic 1. So in this way, we can design the asynchronous counter. We can design it with the help of any kind of flip-flop. Mostly in the next slide, you'll be seeing it with the help of T flip-flops. And external clock is applied to the clock input of a flip-flop A, and QA is the output which is applied to the clock input of the next flip-flop. So this is how the sequential order goes on. First, an external clock is applied to the flip-flop A, and then the output QA will be made as a clock signal for the next simultaneous flip-flop. That's a flip-flop A and flip-flop B. We can see the diagram now here. So see now, first you are having a two flip-flops over here. The first one is called a flip-flop A and flip-flop B, which is nothing else but generally it's a T flip-flop has been used over here, toggle flip-flop. In this one, for the first one, we use a clock. Clock has been given to this particular flip-flop, and for the second one, for the second flip-flop, the output of the first flip-flop will become as a clock input to the second flip-flop. And these two flip-flops are been triggered with a permanent logic 1. A permanent logic 1 has been given as an input to the triggering, that is to the toggle flip-flop, and depending upon this toggling nature, it will produce some output. So let us see how does this asynchronous will be working. See now, initially if I talk about the operation, initially let both the flip-flops are in the reset place. Reset place means what? Both these inputs QA and QB both will be initially assigned as a 0 0. It will be initially in the reset place. Now second case, in the second case, whenever after the first negative clock edge has arrived, whenever the first negative clock edge is arrived, then what happens? As soon as the first negative clock edge is applied over here, then the flip-flop A will toggle. The flip-flop A will toggle. Toggling means what? It will not be resting at one position. It will be just going on 1 0 1 0 1 0 1 0. Most of the manuals, they'll show it as toggling means if it is input is 1, whenever the clock is 1, something like output also will become 1 or 0. But actually the toggling means it will be always like a high and low state. It goes on becoming like this. 1 0 1 0 1 0. That's this meaning this is called as a toggling. So the output of this one will be toggling. Always the output of a T flip flop will be toggling depending upon the clock. If you want it to toggle at a high state, then whenever the clock is high, it will be toggling. Clock is 0, it will not be showing any kind of output. So this is how this is a meaning of toggling flip flop. So see now, whenever you are having a this particular first negative clock edge is arrived at the flip flop A, then what happens? As soon as the first negative clock edge is arrived, then flip flop A will toggle and QA will be equal to 1. Whenever the flip flop A is toggling, then the output of this one will be equal to 1. Then QA is now connected to the flip flop B. That is nothing else, but it becomes as a clock input to the flip flop B. Since QA has changed from 0 to 1, initially it was QA is at 0. Now, depending upon this negative clock, whenever it is applied, the toggling, this flip-flop QA will toggle, and depending upon the toggle, the output will become as 1, and that 1 is applied to the, what is this one, clock of a FB. So we can say that earlier it was 0, and now the value of QA has changed to 1. So that's why we have written here, since QA has changed from 0 to 1, it is treated as a positive clock edge. Initially, for this one, we have given a negative edge. Here now QA has become 1, so it means that we are giving here for the second flip flop the positive edge has been given. Positive edge of a clock is given as a clock input to the second flip flop. If that is the case, what happens then? There is no change in the QB because second flip flop is a negative edge triggered flip flop. We are running these two flip flops on a negative edge. Initially, we have written here we are running this. See, you can see all this are running on the negative edge of flip flop. It depends upon the designer who designs the flip flops or the counters. We are running it on the negative edge means this flip flops will be always running on the negative edge. Since here a positive edge of the clock has given to the second flip flop, at the positive edge your flip flop will be completely idle. It will not be working. It will not be producing any kind of output. So therefore, the flip flop is not working. Second flip flop is not working. Therefore, this two output QA will become as 1 and QB will be as 0 itself. You can see QB is 0 and QA equal to 1 after the first clock pulse. Now let us see what happens for the second clock pulse of the negative clock pulse. Whenever you give the second negative clock pulse, means what's happening now here at the first clock, if this is my clock which is given over here at this one, at the first negative clock pulse, what has happened? You have got an output of this one. 0 1 has produced. 0 1 output has been produced. Now we are trying to, at the positive one, it will not be working. As I told, it is working on a negative clock. So you at the positive one, it will not be working. Again, when it comes to the second negative clock pulse, let us see what's happening for the this particular flip flops. So see now, at the second negative clock edge, at the second negative clock edge, on the arrival of the second negative clock edge, the flip flop A will be again toggling. Whenever it toggles, what happens again? The QA becomes 0. The QA again, what is happening? Whenever it is toggling, the QA is going to become 0. So this is how the flip flop will be working on. So now your output is what? QA is equal to 0. Now this 0 is given as an input to the FB. Again, 0 has been treated as a negative clock edge. Again, if negative clock edge is given as a clock input to the second flip flop, this flip flop also will be toggling. The change in the QA acts as a negative clock edge for the second flip flop, so it also toggle, and the QB will be producing an output of 1. So what will become the second output now? This is 0 and this is 1, so the output will be 0 1. Sorry, if it is QB, I have written as QB over here first, so it will be 1 0. So now the output is going to be 1 0 after second clock pulse. For the first one, the output is 0 1 depending upon the QB and QA. Now here after second clock pulse, it is 1 0. Let us see for the third clock pulse, third negative clock pulse. At one, whenever it is positive, it will not be working. Why? Because we have designed this particular flip flop on the negative edge only. On the third clock edge, what happens? Again, on the arrival of third negative edge on this one, this is the first one, second one, and this is a third one. On the third negative edge, what happens? Again, this flip flop will be toggling. First flip flop will be toggling, and QA will changes from 1 to 0. The QA is going to change it from 1 to 0, and because of this one, that becomes as a positive clock edge for this one, and this will not be working. because your flip-flops are not working on the positive edge. So now this will not be working, and you will produce an output of ultimately see now becomes 1 to 0. Since this is a positive going changes, flip-flop B doesn't respond. It will not be responding, and it remains inactive. So the QB doesn't change. What is the earlier stage of QB? It is 1, and now it is here also it will not be changing, so it will be unchanged. So the output will be your anyway the QA has changed, this value has changed to 1, and the previous value of this QB is 1, so your output will be 1 1. So ultimately on the third edge of the clock your output will be 1 1. Now let us see for the fourth edge of the clock. This is a first negative edge, first negative edge. This is a second negative edge. This is a third negative edge, and this will be your fourth negative edge. Let us see what happens on the fourth negative edge of this particular clock. If it is a fourth negative edge on the clock, whenever the fourth negative edge arrives over the first flip flop, it will toggle, and the QA is going to change from 1 to 0. Now the QA earlier it was 1, now it changed to 0. Whenever the 0 will become as a negative edge for the negative edge clock input for the second flip flop, this flip flop will be working. Then this output is going to change. It goes from 1 to 0, and your output will be 0. So ultimately you will get an output of 0 0. So this is how any of the ripple counter or this kind of flip flops will be working, or this kind of counter will be working. And the same thing is been put it in the this truth table. I have put everything in the truth table in the similar manner. All these outputs you can see, first we have got, excuse me, first we have got our output to be equal to 0 0. Initially it is set to be 0 0. At the first negative edge it is 0 1. 0 1 is your output. At the second negative edge your output is 1 0 1 0, and the third negative edge your output is 1 1, and finally it becomes equal to 0 0. So this is a normal working condition of an asynchronous or else ripple counter. So now let us see the synchronous counters. If you talk about the synchronous counter, this synchronous counter, if the clock pulse is applied to all the flip-flops in a counter simultaneously, then that particular flip-flop is called as a synchronous counter. What is the difference between the previous one? In the previous asynchronous counter, where only one clock will be given to the first flip-flop, and the second flip-flops will be connected, or the second flip-flop clock will be connected depending upon the output of the first flip-flop or the previous flip-flop. But here in the synchronous counter, what happens is that simultaneously at the same time you will be triggering the clocks of all the flip-flops. It means that your next flip-flops will not be waiting for the output of the previous flip-flop. In the asynchronous flip-flop, what has happened? The triggering of the clock for the next flip-flop depends upon the output of a previous flip-flop. But here in the synchronous counters, all the clocks are being triggered at the same time with a different kind of clocks or same kind of clock. So that's the difference between asynchronous and synchronous. So now here the same thing I have written here. If the clock pulses are applied to all the flip-flops in a counter simultaneously, whenever you apply a clock pulses to all the if a clock pulses are applied to all the flip-flops simultaneously, we call that kind of flip-flops as an synchronous counters. So see now, this if a 2-bit synchronous up counter has to be designed, usually you will be using here JK flip-flop have been used inputs, or else you can use even the similar kind of T flip-flops also. Why? Because we know how to modify one flip-flop to another flip-flop. We have studied that when the basic electronics. The same flip-flop can be again modified into D flip-flop to T flip-flop, or T to D, or else from JK to SR or SR to JK, depending upon the different kind of logics. So no need to worry about which kind of flip-flop you're using over here. So JK and JK flip-flop inputs for the A are tied to the logic 1. In this one, both the J and K are being connected to the logic 1. So the first flip-flop will be working as a toggle flip-flop. Both are connected to the logic 1 means both are given. Whenever you short J and K, that JK flip-flop will become as a T flip-flop. That is the basic which you have studied. The same thing I have written over here. Whenever the J and K are connected to one logic, it is connected to only one input. Therefore, now this JK flip-flop will act as a T flip-flop. That is a small minimum understanding of conversion of JK flip-flop to T flip-flop. If you short J and K, that JK flip flop will become as a T flip flop. Okay, that's a see now. If I'm drawing here the JK flip flop, if let it be, this is my output Q, and these are my two inputs J and K. I'm not talking about the clock or anything else. I'm making you to understand how to convert a JK to T flip flop. If this is my JK flip flop, this is my flip flop here. If this flip flop has to be converted into T flip flop, means if you are able to use these two inputs as one input, now this flip flop, whenever the shorting of these two inputs has been done, then this flip flop will be called as a T flip flop. That's a conversion of one flip flop to another flip flop. This is called as a converting of JK flip flop into T flip flop. The same thing, this diagrammatic part I have written over here. Whenever the J and K inputs are of the flip flop A are tied to one logic, to any of the logic, it can be logic 1 or logic 0, whatever it may be, then the flip flop A will work as an toggle flip flop, and JB and J are connected to the output QA. Okay, now the second flip flop here, it will be a second flip flop. Now the same again, in order to make that one as a toggle flip flop, if this is my flip flop 2, the earlier one is flip flop 1 and this is a flip flop 2, even this one will be having the two inputs J and K. If I'm connecting this J and K to this one, now this becomes as another toggle flip flop, where the output of this one is connected as an input to the two inputs of this flip flop. So this becomes again another toggle flip flop. So see now, this is what I was talking about. This JK flip flop, where both the inputs are connected to logic 1, and again the J and K are connected to the output of this one. But you can see the difference between the previous one and this particular kind of flip flop. In the previous one, only one clock was there, and the second clock of the flip flop, second flip flop's clock used to get triggered from the output of the previous flip flop. This used to become as a clock input. But in this kind of flip flop, in this kind of flip flops, you can see here now, this is called as what? Synchronous kind of flip flop. When you go for the asynchronous, you'll be having only one clock, and the second flip flop's clock will be triggered from the previous flip flop's output. But in the synchronous flip flop, what you'll be doing, you'll be connecting only one clock. That particular clock will be triggering the clock inputs of all the flip flops simultaneously. At the same time, it will be triggering. So therefore, therefore, whenever you try to trigger this all the flip flops at the same time, we can say that all these are in sync. These are in the synchronous nature. They are been synced with respect to this particular clock. Therefore, we call it as a synchronous counters. So see now, let us see the operation of the synchronous counter. Initially, both the flip flops are set to reset to this value of 0, 0. The outputs have been reset to 0, 0. QA and QB are made as 0, 0. Then what happens at the first negative clock edge? Whenever the negative clock edge has been given here, okay, I have taken here 4 negative clock edges. Until I get the same initial value, I'll be trying to trigger it. See, initially it was 0, 0. Again, at the fourth edge, it's again coming to 0, 0. Whenever the output becomes again 0, 0, there I'll be going to end this particular operation. So for the first one, this is my first negative edge. This is my second negative. This is a third negative, and this will be my fourth one. Means whenever it's a first negative clock edge. Negative clock edge means I'm talking about this one actually. In fact, see now, this is a negative. The falling part we'll take it as a negative one. Actually, to make you understand, I have written it as this low part I have taken as a negative, but this is called as a positive edge. This is called as a positive edge, and this is called as a negative edge. Okay, so see now. As soon as the first negative clock edge is applied, as soon as a negative clock edge is applied over here to the for this first flip flop, what happens? The toggling has to take place. Why? Because even though it has been designed with the help of JK flip flop, we have shorted both the inputs of J and K in order to make it as a T flip flop. Now this both are T flip flops which are designed with the help of JK flip flop. Therefore, whenever you apply first negative clock negative edge, then this flip flop will be toggling. Whenever it toggles, we know that the output will be changing. The output changes from 0 to 1. So the same thing we have written here. The output changes from 0 to 1. Now, whenever the output changes from 0 to 1, that one will become as an again input to this J and K. Now here again this particular input part is been connected to the same logic 1. It is connected to the same logic 1. So now here at the instant of application of this one negative edge, what is happening here? Both initially what is this one? JB, the second flip-flop, I'm talking about the second flip-flop inputs is 0. Hence, the flip-flop B will not be changing its state. So the QB is going to remain remain at the same state, that QB is going to be 0 only. So your output will be one. In here I have written it as what? QB. So your output will be 0 and 1. 0 and 1 will be your outputs for the first case of operation. Whenever the first clock pulse is changed, then you will get an output of 0, 1. Now let us see for the second edge of the clock. Whenever the second negative edge is applied, on the arrival of the second negative edge, the clock flip-flop A will be toggling again. The output QA changes from 1 to 0. It is going to change from 1 to 0. Then at this instant, the QA was 1. So now what is happening here? QB and JB and KB is equal to 1. Okay, the output has arrived here. Before the arriving of this output, what was the value here? It was 1 as per this one. The output was 1 before arriving of this output. Sorry, the input was 1 over here. For the second flip-flop, the input was 1 before arriving of this first flip-flop's output. So therefore, we have written here, the second flip-flop's inputs is going to be 1. And whenever this is happening, the toggling of this flip-flop, the second flip-flop also toggles. Whenever the 1 is connected over here, the second flip-flop also toggles. Depending upon this one, whenever the second flip-flop toggles, the output changes from 0 to 1. Now the QB output will be 1. So ultimately your value will be, the ultimate value will be 1 and 0. The output value of this two flip-flops will be, the count will be 1 and 0. In the similar way, when you go for the third flip-flop, if you apply the third flip-flop, what happens? The first flip-flop. Let us talk with respect to first flip-flop. On the application of the third falling clock edge, then the first flip-flop will toggle from 0 to 1. The output changes from 0 to 1. Now the output is gone, changes from 0 to 1. And initially this was before arriving of this output of the first flip-flop from 0 to 1. This now becomes as a 0 over here. This becomes a 0. The same thing we have written over here. When it is a 0 to 1, there will be no change in this particular case, and the output is going to be same thing. So if the output is going to be same thing, means your output of these two flip-flops, QB is going to be 1 and QA is going to be 1. So ultimately you get an output of 1, 1. And for the final fourth flip-flop, what happens when you trigger the negative edge? If you are triggering the negative edge, then in the next cycle, the QA will change from 1 to 0. QA is going to change from 1 to 0 depending upon the toggling. Because the toggle takes place over here depending upon this logic 1, the QA will change from 1 to 0. The 0 comes over here, and QB will also change from 0 to 1. Why? Because the earlier case in this one, before the arriving of the 0, it was the output was over here 1. So whenever the logic 1 is applied as input here, the toggling takes place. Whenever the toggling takes place, this also again it changes from 1 to 0. So ultimately your output QB will be 1 and QA will be 1. So your final output is 0, 0. We have started initially from 0, 0, and we have come to the counting part of the same state. So now here your counting ends. So this is how your particular synchronous counters will be working. In the asynchronous counter, the same operation will be happening, but it happens on the previous output of the it happens on the output of the previous flip-flop. But here what happens in the synchronous counter, the output has been arrived, or the counting has been taken place in a sequential order depending upon the clock signal and the logic 1 state, which has been permanently given as an input to the first flip-flop. So this is your working condition of synchronous and asynchronous. Most of you might have studied this one in your previous basic electronic concepts. So once if you know this one, we can enter into the high level kind of counters, which is called as an ring counters, or also which is also called as an other kind of counter will be Johnson counter. So now the classification of counter. The classification of this particular counter will be done as you all told, it will be done as up counters or down counters, and also the another kind of counter is called up down counters. And after this one, you'll be using again modern type of counters also there. So these are the basic counters which we will be studying in our basics of electronics. First one is up counter, second one is down counter, and after that we'll be using up down counters. And the last one, it is modern type of counters. That was only up to the basics of electronics. Now